Matter of notice of this meeting was provided to the Cranford Chronicle, advertised on January 16, 2015. Notification was sent to the Star Ledger, formerly posted on municipal public bulletin board and filed in the office of the municipal clerk in the public time and place according to the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Law, Chapter 231, PL 175. We have some visitors this evening, ladies and gentlemen, so we'll proceed on that vein. A presentation from Ali Kopian, dietitian at Garwood, ShopRite, regarding National Nutrition Month. Please step forward. Thank you, Joyce. Whereas food is a substance by which life is sustained, and whereas the type of quality and amount of food that individuals consume each day plays a vital role in their overall health and physical fitness, and whereas there is a need for continuing nutrition education and a wide-scale effort to enhance healthy eating practices. Now, therefore, I, Charles Borough, Mayor of the Borough of Garwood, I proclaim the month of March 2015 as National Nutrition Month in the Borough of Garwood. Whereas I encourage all citizens to join the campaign and become concerned about nutrition and the nutrition of others in the hope of achieving optimal health for both today and tomorrow. Adopted February 24th, 2015. Thank you, Mayor. Let's say a few words.
Yes, I'm excited that it's official, National Month of Nutrition. I'm the ShopRite retail dietitian, so part of my job is to outreach to the community. So anyone want to set up an appointment with me or have any community events? I do Girl Scout events, schools, work with doctors. So anything, I'll leave my calendar here. My information's on there, so just contact, call, or email. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'll continue on. Presentation by Barbara Tweedle, Municipal Alliance Chair. Please step forward. Thank you. If you care to sit, go right ahead.
Sure.
We know who you are.
Okay. Good evening, everybody.
No?
The mayor invited us today to explain a little bit about what the Garwood Alliance is. And we're a committee, we're all appointed by the mayor. And we work with programs for drug prevention, alcoholism, and we work with the community and the schools here in Garwood and also in Clark. I don't know what to tell you about. We do the dare. We don't pay for one program all outright. We always go in with other programs, except for the Garwood programs. I do pay for it. We do pay for it. We have DARE. I don't pay all of that because that's run through the Garwood Police Department. We do Red Ribbon Week, and during that whole week we have events. We have a multimedia program that I do for the whole school body, and it's all age appropriate. So we split them so like from 5th to 8th grade has one program and the younger children have another one. And it's very high tech, very loud. It keeps their attention, and it goes through different things of marijuana use, alcoholism, all kinds of things, bullying. We slide bullying in there too. And there's always little giveaways that we'll do. We do School Spirit Week. And 3 years ago, Mary Evans and I, the principal, were trying to think of a way that we could just stay in touch with all the kids. And sometime during a day, we'll just have a snack attack. And it doesn't matter where we are in the school, everyone just stops what we're doing, and we have a bottle of water and pretzels. That's our snack.
If it's right in with our nutritionist in the back.
Well, we tried the popcorn routine and that got messy, and granola bars, we had to worry about nuts and all chocolate. So now we just do straight up pretzels. And it's actually a pretty big highlight of the week. The kids love it. And we all get to sit, 15 minutes where we all can talk, and then we go on with our day. For our school, it's great that I have Mary because she's also on our committee, but she's also the principal of the school. So she has ideas that we can always work in the program. so that's fun. The other program is San Rocco. He's also on our alliance. And the way the county has it worked, we get a budget of money, and then we have to give them, the borough has to do a cash match, and it's a percentage of the award. But then we also have to do our in-kind. Between Sam and what Tina does and what the girls do as we all work together, we put in over $10,000 of in-kind, which is all technically free service, fake money, but it's a lot of hours that everyone puts in. And Sam also takes care of our red ribbon through the county. He goes to meetings. We have our underage prevention program. We have an alcohol EDU program, which is.
What are we talking about?
These are my.
Do you want to just announce who they are?
This is Ron. He's the SAC coordinator from Clark. He's on our alliance. That's my daughter Caitlin. She's just a citizen. We have Sam Rocco, we have Mary Emmons, we have someone from the fire department. So we're trying to, I need more members, and they're always welcome. We meet only 4 times a year at 7 o'clock in the little back room. Our next meeting is March 19th, if anyone is interested. But Ron can explain, if you wanted him to, the alcohol EDU program. It's a computer program in the high school.
Okay.
And then we fund great. Our community outreach program is the tree lighting ceremony, where we're gonna be out there and give out information. We have some things out on the little board. I usually try to keep pamphlets in there. There's calendars also in there now. And the rest is basically just networking and training. I'm mandated that I have to go to 5 county meetings a year. They're mandatory. I am audited once a year by the county. If anything is wrong with my quarterly reports, I am cited on that, and I have so many days to correct it. We do quarterly reports. This year we did not, because they've changed the way our scheduling is going. They've changed our calendar year. We're now going from July 1st to June 30th. So I did 2 quarters in one chunk. So this year will end as of June 30th.
Is that because they want it to be coincided with the school year, do you think? Or they're just,
I don't know.
okay, just curious.
I can't answer that. They just now started it. We just got off of an 18-month budget.
Oh, okay.
So now we're starting our first full term with it.
Okay.
Our budget has been approved up until 19. I was the first one to have our budget approved from the county, so I was excited about that. And, I don't know if anyone has any questions, and like I said, Ron could also talk about some of those programs.
Would you want to step forward?
Oh, we do
Yeah,
leadership
wanna sit here?
also.
Yeah, just take a minute.
Yeah, at the high school, we're fortunate because we get funding from both the Garwood Municipal Alliance and the Clark Municipal Alliance, which I'm part of both as a student assistance counselor. The 2 main programs that Garwood helps fund, one is alcohol EDU, which is an evidence-based alcohol prevention program. We put it in our 9th grade health curriculum, so every 9th grade student at ALJ takes the course. And basically it takes 90 to 120 minutes, it's usually over 3 class periods. They do an at-risk survey, they have to have parental consent to take part of the risk survey. And then it's an online curriculum on choices, on all the current research on what alcohol does to a developing brain and things. And then 30 days after they finish the course, they take a follow-up refresher course and survey. And then what we do is we get the following year, we get an output of the student surveys compared with trends that are exhibited at our school compared to the state of New Jersey and compared to the national trends for kids that age. Basically, the course is, it's a version of the alcohol EDU for college, and if you have any kids that go to college nowadays, to live on college dorm, you have to take an online prevention course. So that's their main product, and then what they've done is, they made a similar product for the high school, so they kind of changed the level a little. This is, I think, the third year we're doing it, and it'll be in the grant for the next 4 years. Garwood picks up, I think, about 25% of the course, and then the rest is picked up by Clark. The other course that, the other program that Garwood pays for is the high school peer leadership program. There's about 45 high school seniors that are trained at the end of the school year. So for instance, at the end of this year in June, 45 juniors will be trained in group problem solving, in running group discussions. And then the following year when they're seniors, they do like 5 programs for the incoming freshmen. So the first day of school, the freshman orientation is done by peer leaders. Each, I guess there are 2 or 3 peer leaders assigned to a group of 10 or 15 freshmen, and they kind of like a big brother, big sister program. So it starts with the orientation, the first day of school. Then about every 6 weeks they do a program. So they usually do, in November, it deals with freshman stress activities. They had a program this year on internet safety, social media. They will be doing a program in April on dating relationships. They do one on anti-bullying program. And then in May, at the end of the year, when they start recruiting the new juniors for the program, the current seniors do the actual interview process. So they meet about 6 times during the course of the year. That program is funded by you guys. So that's something it's our own in-house program. 2 English teachers run it, Joanne Colosimo and Lisa Rosso. They've been running the program about 4 years now. So again, it's a very worthwhile program. So those are the 2 main ones at the high school, pretty much geared towards the freshman incoming year.
Very good, thank you. All the council questions?
Well, I did forget that, we also fund project graduation.
Is that-
It's still, I moved it.
Well, they take it off a Clark, so.
The county keeps moving it and saying you can't do it, but I actually have it again for now.
Project graduation is
Substance
it's a
free.
substance-free program the night of graduation. After about an hour after the seniors graduate, they come back to the school. They get bused to, I'm not sure where they're going this year, for a kind of like an all-night activity program. Usually they get literature from the county. Usually the youth aid officers from Clark and Garwood are there. It's not affiliated with the school. In the past, students from Garwood who could not afford the cost, the Alliance has picked up for them. And then if there's any money left over, usually they get donated to the general fund for the
Right.
program.
A small portion of that money is used for the we call it a scholarship, so that this year no one's left behind. That if they don't have money, they can still go. So we do that. I did forget about that program, so.
Any questions?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, Barbara, we're very glad you were able to come out because, Garwood Alliance is one of those titles that no one really knows what it is. So the mayor and I were talking about inviting different groups in to kind of explain what goes on. And I'm very glad that you were able to come out. I'm sure people didn't know a quarter of the activities that the Alliance is involved in. And so we appreciate what you do. Couple of quick questions. You said the budget's approved for the next 4 or 5 years. How much of that is from the county and how much of that's from the borough?
The actual figure as of right now, the county will be giving us, it's $14,202.
Is that per year or is that over?
Yeah, per year.
Per year.
The grant cycle is a 4-year cycle. That's why the last grant was 18 months. It used to go January to December, but they changed it to go with the state fiscal year, I guess, which is July 1st to June 30th. It used to be a 3-year grant cycle, so once it was approved for 3 years. Now it's a 4-year grant cycle. So the programs that are approved.
Every year we will be given that amount of money.
Yeah, and then you can make adjustments that have to be
At
approved
the end
by
of the year,
county.
it just gets, I always say put away, but that's not the right word. If we don't spend it, we just don't get that money. It doesn't get carried over.
And the borough money is all in kind. And is there a percentage or how's, go ahead.
Honestly, I don't know, I think on here somewhere it says the percentage. We do have a percentage it's about $3,500 from the borough.
Maybe 25%.
25%.
Is it 25?
Balance is being kind.
She said we can wait 10,000, she did.
Yeah, it's over 10,000, and honestly, like San Rocco really puts in, the DARE counts as that.
Right.
Our DARE things, our community outreach programs, red ribbon things. So, I'm very lucky, I've been on the Alliance before, years ago, but, it was kind of one of those things that we weren't really involved in doing things. And now the state is mandating that we pick one topic and concentrate on a topic. We've chosen to do underage drinking. So you may find us in a liquor store, you may find us anywhere, but that's what our goal is that we're trying to stop that, because Garwood didn't or does have an issue with that. And there are other drugs that we could have picked, but we decided as a group to do underage drinking.
And when you say that, everybody always thinks drinking or drugs, what have you, is outside of, their community. How is Garwood?
We do have a problem.
Yeah?
And actually, I don't have the statistics with me, but Mary Emmons, with the programs that we've been running now in the school, over the past 2 years, our numbers have dropped.
Our numbers
Have dropped
for what?
of underage drinking.
How do you calculate those numbers?
By reported instances.
Reported instances?
Yeah. If it's not reported, we can't use it as a statistic.
That's practical.
But they are dropping, so we are making a difference.
Barbara, I didn't hear you mention LMTI. Are you guys not working
Not
with that
doing
program
that
any longer?
No, I used to take kids, but,
Right. Both my children were involved.
yeah,
in the
so
program.
last summer was the first year we haven't gone there. It's been it was on the last grant, and it was always an issue because so few kids went. And even though they did the program, they're trying to get evidence-based programs in now. So we just shifted that money to other programs that would outreach to more students.
Okay.
And unfortunately for LMTI, a lot of the schools that have been going to that program have lost the funding through their alliances. So they've gone to different things.
Mayor, I just have one
Yes.
question. If that was what Garwood chose, just out of curiosity, what did Clark go with as their one main focus?
We have the same.
Same.
It's addressing underage drinking.
Okay, that's good.
And the reality is that at the high school, the drug of choice is still alcohol. The most frequency is the alcohol for a variety of reasons. And then it would go to your other substances like marijuana and things like that. But alcohol is still the primary issue, I think, in our communities. And in reality, I think most of the towns in the county still focus on underage drinking, a lot of the communities.
Makes sense.
But that's still,
It's also
the easiest
important.
is accessible.
Right, it's important for Garwood to work with Clark, because when we work with our grammar school here, they're on their own, but we have to make sure that they're gonna be okay when they go to the high school. So it is easier for us, because I can work with the Clark Alliance and they can work with us,
Right.
and we can make a strong front against for the high school. For Garwood, it's a little bit more difficult because we have to split the money that's awarded. Because it's not fair for everything to go to the high school.
Right.
Because our problem is also in the middle school here.
Right.
So I tried to make it that everyone basically from 2nd or 3rd grade starts a drug prevention program. There's something going in every grade.
Well, thank you both for coming here tonight.
No
Mr.
problem.
Ferrara, you probably don't recognize me.
I recognize the face.
I remember you in the hallways, no,
Yeah.
no bad places or anything.
That's what they all said.
God's strict.
No.
No, and I wasn't a peer leader, but I remember the program, I remember distinctly freshman year, first day. I remember project graduation, a great night, so
Yeah.
thank you for what you do.
So,
I just have one more question. When my kids were in the high school, they had a day where they staged an entire day where there was an accident.
Yeah, we've done that at the high
Is that
school.
your program?
Pardon me?
Is that your program? Do you guys do that?
I work with it as the counselor when we do that.
It's every
We've
15
had,
minutes.
the program's every
15
15 minutes.
right.
And we were doing it alternating years, so as part of the program, you had the car scene, but then throughout the day, all the seniors came down to the gym. We had different stations. We had the Fatal Vision goggles.
Right.
We had this thing that shows you distracted driving. We had the cart that they would use that.
Right.
We do that program every year. We stopped the last 2 cycles with the accident because we had had one of our former students die in a car accident at
Right.
University of Delaware,
Right.
and she had a
That's-
younger brother and younger
Yeah.
sister.
That was my daughter's area.
Yeah, so the youngest sister is a senior this year. So we've kind of not done the accident part, just because one, her, and then we also had other family members of students dying over accidents.
Because the year you did do it was my son's senior year, and I
Yeah.
participated, and I thought that was very powerful.
Yeah, we had, we did it 3 times. I think the second one was really, they were all very powerful. And, so we do plan on doing the actual car accident again, but the other component of the program we continue to do every year.
Thank you.
I had a question on the overall goal. I mean, do you have like an overall mission statement? You seem to choose programs that you're going to get involved with. Do you have a mission statement or a description of your?
When you do your grant, you have
I
to,
do, but I don't.
they give you a whole series of objectives that you can pick. And so ours is, probably says right at the top there.
Yeah,
It is just, all the programs have to relate to affecting underage drinking. So our long-term outcome, and that's how they label it, would be reduce underage consumption of
we
alcohol.
actually have a whole mission
Okay.
And
statement.
so, that's our goal. And then each one, we have a list of local conditions that either promotes it or resource factors to help to reduce it. So there's a whole
Right.
series of
Each program has
paperwork
one.
that you're required to do.
Yeah, each program has this, but we actually have an actual mission statement, and our goal really is just to help.
Okay. Yeah, if somebody came up to me and said, well, gee, what does the Garwood Alliance do? I just wanted to understand. what
Provide
you do.
programs that.
Programs, we do tons of information, we're able to give you resources to find help.
Yeah,
We have a list that, where you can go to help.
great.
Any other questions? I thank you for coming.
Thank you.
For
Okay.
providing good information.
Thank you.
If you know anyone who wants to be part of the committee. I'm
Oh, they're
glad.
welcome.
Yes.
March 19th is
And
our.
I will try to be at your June meeting, as I
Okay, perfect.
promised.
Oh, when is graduation?
You know what, I don't know.
18th.
I don't know.
Well, as you said, that date is flexible.
Yeah, that one's flexible.
No problem.
I know this year it's a Tuesday. Usually it's
Oh,
a
no, we're
Thursday.
good. We're good.
So it's,
Okay.
it's the first
See you-
time it
see you
has
at
been
that
on a
meeting.
Thursday.
Yes, it's in my planning book already. Thank you again.
Okay, thank you.
Continue on, Carol Carmen, our business and industry liaison. Thanks for coming.
Okay.
Wherever you're comfortable. Donald's comfortable back there.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. And this is as painless as possible.
You want to speak into the
Never
microphone?
painful.
Could you hear me now?
Not really.
You can hear me now?
Very close.
That's gotta be really
Close.
close.
Real close.
Really close? I can't read if I'm that close. Okay, I'm gonna do the Greater Westville Area Chamber of Commerce update first. As the liaison to Garwood, we now have 34 members from Garwood. The latest members are ShopRite at Garwood, King Supermarket, and Home Depot, which we're very proud to have on board and supporting the borough. We have a scholarship program which will be in place as a foundation of the Chamber of Commerce, which is called the Greater Westville Area Chamber of Commerce Foundation. I do not know when the 5013C will be available. It takes 6 months, June. And then the 5 towns that are involved in the chamber will have access to funds from that foundation. Also wanted to make Kathy Bellagio is not here tonight, but Movies Under the Star will happen again this year. It will be, we have Spencer Savings Bank, the Y, and the Chamber of Commerce who will be supporting that for the borough. We don't have a date on it yet, no meetings, but I just wanted to make that announcement. Okay, we had 2 grand openings. We had one February 28th and one March 1st. The February 28th was at the Spring Academy. The mayor, Bill Mearstadt, and Sarah Tedisco were present. Jill G., the owner of Spring Academy, was elated that she had dignitaries.
Oh, yeah.
And that one teacher.
And that one, yes, she left her white hair.
That's a public meeting.
You feel like a president?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
No, they were very, very happy to have the participation in the borough. And she feels now she's part of the community. There was an email. Sarah, did you read it?
Yes.
Bill? Charles, did you read it? Okay. I will just quickly, it was beautiful. Thank you so much for taking the time to come to Spring Academy's grand reopening ceremony and Chinese New Year party this past Saturday. Your support means a lot to us. As a local business owner, I feel a sense of community belonging now. As per our conversation, we would love the opportunity to work with the Garwood Board of Education, Rec Department, and other departments for anything related to the community. Carol, greatly appreciate it if you would kindly pass this email on to people at the Westville Chamber because she did not have the email address. She says just please keep in contact and feel free to come visit us again. The second opening was the Gala Hair Salon on Center Street also. And we had the mayor, Councilman Martin, Bill Mearstadt, and members of the Greater Westville Area Chamber of Commerce. Let's see what's next here. I have 2 more grand openings, which I will be letting the council know about very shortly. I don't have dates set up for them yet. Moving on to Garwood Rocks. It's scheduled for June 7th. It'll be the same time from 10 to 5. As of Friday, March 6th, we have 40 vendors and 9 food concessions, and it's only March, so it's growing rapidly. I had a conversation with Mike G., who's also known as Hot Rod Mike. He has had so many requests for cars that we have to shut it down at 250 cars because I honestly don't know, Chief, how many we could fit.
We had about 200 last year.
Yeah.
10? Yeah, that would be pushing it right about
So
there.
we're gonna have to shut it down at a certain point. He said he has calls every day. It was one of the largest events in this area. Also, Leonard Lamps will be back because he loves in old cars, and he would not leave. He was down here for hours. He said he's coming back.
Make sure I get to talk to them.
Good, we have the post office still through that, right? Uh-oh, don't talk about it.
All right, 7th Street will be closed from South to Union Park, and I believe the chief was very specific about how the streets were going to be closed. If anybody needs a copy of the email, I'm sure we'll make it available to anyone.
Cal, do you guys plan on doing the layout different of where the
We're
vendors and the cars?
we're changing up a little bit this year. We had one reorganization meeting. We will have more coming up on that. Because we need to know what we're gonna do, how far down, the streets we're going to bring the event this year. It's growing very, very quickly.
Okay.
We are expanding the kids zone. The rides, petting zoo, and horses, we try to keep down by the Y, because it's probably on their part, on their property. Okay, over there. We are adding a kids running obstacle course. And I have what it is here, what it involves. There'll be a meeting this Friday, I believe Mike, you'll be there, Martin, myself. Tim, do you want to give a little story on this kid running his own?
Bottom line, you want me to come up here?
Yes, Tim is on the executive committee and he's a board member in the chamber. Tim York.
Bottom line, what it is it's, he comes in and he sets up full obstacle course. It's very similar to a Tough Mudder that the adults run. They are able to run the obstacle course and they can come back later in the day. If they qualify, they do heats going forward and everything, so it's really a very dynamic
What age
thing.
groups?
He has several age groups in
There are several heats, different heats, so it kind of graduates as the day goes on and then it brings it back and everything. So it's, yeah, the kids go bananas for it, actually. So we're looking forward to adding that to Garwood Rocks. We just have to figure out logistics and exactly where we're going to put it. It does take up a fair amount of space, so that's what the meeting Friday is going to be about, and we'll figure it out from there.
We're looking at 3 sites in town and whatever the mayor and council is.
Yes, to be honest, I'm looking to, and also questioning the Parks Commission to utilize the end of Center Street in Happy Park, that
Yeah.
open area there.
That'd be ideal.
Yeah, that's the.
We also have to figure how we're going to get, the chief's like, oh, there it is, how we're gonna get the people in and out if we put it in any park. That's why I asked you to come to come to the meeting.
What time is that meeting? What time is that meeting on Friday?
11 o'clock. The gentleman that's coming, we'll all be here in the parking lot and then we'll go look at the sites. And, okay, what else? The beer and wine garden will be located in Lot 2 this year.
Garden, not tent, garden.
Yes, it's gonna be next to my building there, at 207 Center Street. We already spoke to Lee from Crossroads and he's on board. And I think now we shall come after Garwood Rocks. I have several businesses that are calling me regarding issues with the sandwich board signs, because now they know there's a business and industry liaison in town, and parking on Center Street. So what I have done, I told them that they should go to the mayor's Saturday and sit and speak with the mayor, and then he will take it to the council. Because I was not directed to do anything any other way, so I just took that upon myself. And,
The positive that is, Councilwoman Tarantino will be there.
Specifically, yeah, this Mayor Saturday, I will be there, and I was
The
involved
council
with the sandwich
representative.
board sign, so that will be.
I'll call, make sure, I was sure.
And parking.
Okay, and the parking on Center Street is another issue with the businesses. Also, I'm in the process of meeting on Friday morning, Friday afternoon with TAP, the Alternative Press. So we have more coverage here in Garwood. It looks like they're gonna come on board with the Clark issue of the TAP. And very easy to get articles and photographs into them. And I will bring more information on that on my next report. I think in closing, I'd like to thank the mayor and council for your support and welcoming the new businesses. They are thrilled that young entrepreneurs coming in town. So that makes Garwood, a very place where they want to run their businesses. They feel comfortable here. And I think it's just wonderful that everybody's involved now. If you want to pass that around, maybe they can take a look at it. And thank everybody for their time. If you have any questions for the
Question
Garwood Rocks.
from the council?
Thanks. Well, again, thank you for coming. You're come before us pretty much quarterly, I'd say, so that's a very positive thing to hear from the business community. One quick question is about the scholarship program. I think it's wonderful. You should be commended for that. Will that be 8th grade scholarships or high school scholarships or both?
High school.
It'll be high school, they both. All right.
Well, I'm sorry, but the foundation is being formed and the board of directors of the new foundation is gonna make those decisions. So it's really kind of early to say just what level and how much scholarships will be given, but it'll be beyond, it's for the 5 towns that we serve. And so Garwood will be involved with that process.
One other short note, young entrepreneurs, Jean teaches for that group now. We sure hope we get some kids from Garwood involved in that. And there are scholarships available for young entrepreneurs also. You know, if any of the children need any aid or any help. It's a great program. It's a wonderful program, so maybe we can work on getting some of our children interested in it.
Definitely. One follow-up with that, I would just like to say, just keep in mind with Garwood only having the one school here technically, but we still send to Clark, and Clark's not in this chamber, I don't believe.
No.
So, but Garwood could have Garwood-only scholarships available for students to apply at Arthur L. Johnson. So just please, if you could keep that in mind when making any decisions or in thinking about how to implement it. And possibly we could follow up with the Board of Education on the YEA program and see how the school is promoting that. I know we have a Board of Education member in the audience too, so hopefully that helps.
It's a wonderful program. It really is. Okay, thank you.
That's all I have. Thank you again.
I had two quick questions. Just to add on to what Sarah said, if you fully understand what she's saying, if you go to the graduation over ALJ, I'm gonna make up these numbers, so don't quote, but it has to be a 5-to-1 ratio in terms of scholarships that are available for Clark residents versus, I say residents, graduates, versus scholarships that are available to Garwood residents. So and we found that out years ago with the EFG. Or, you know, actually when you have children graduate, you realize, wow, the Garwood students aren't even eligible to receive a number of the programs or a number of scholarships from that are offered that night. So yeah, if you could, you know,
Certainly keep that in
limit
mind.
to a Garwood student, that would really appreciate it.
The intention, if I could say, is to give it to Garwood seniors at the high school. So there would be a Garwood scholarship for Garwood seniors.
Great.
Very nice.
Carol, you mentioned the 34 members from Garwood. How many are now total within the chamber? Do you know?
How many?
How many businesses are within the chamber? How many total?
Total, we're up to 380.
Wow, that is a
The
huge
chamber, since
organization.
Jean took over as executive director, we have gone from 230 to 270 to the number you have today. He works tirelessly, and Tim can vouch for that
Yes, I
also.
can.
Congratulations and all the positives. That group from how many years ago Garwood couldn't even
Was
stick.
nothing.
Yeah,
And, you know,
that is,
I moved it
fantastic.
because I thought it was good for Garwood
Yeah.
at that time, and it's wonderful, it's working out great, even if Garwood rocks now, so,
Yeah.
you know, and we're gonna continue as many years as we can, and, you know, I'm here to help with any of the smaller programs with the children, because I have sponsors that are willing to give. So whoever from, I know Kathy runs that one program, if she comes to me and says, can you help with the Easter egg or the Christmas tree hot chocolate or something like that, I have ways that I can get sponsorships for her. So, you know, just approach me at any time. You know, I'm on the roster now, so, and I'm here to help anybody in Garwood.
You have my own email now.
Pardon? I have my own email now. Is that a good thing?
You asked for it.
We'll see.
Last question, you mentioned about the sandwich board sign. Tina, has the clock started ticking yet on the ordinance? All right, tomorrow night is the planning board review of the sandwich signs. I don't know if anybody from the chamber wants to make any comments tomorrow night, because we actually have to make a recommendation to council as to the proposed ordinance. So if anyone's available tomorrow night to make changes, or, you know, because we only have a limited, basically it's 35 days and then 45 days, so it's only a limited time period in which to make comments. So I would encourage the chamber to get those comments to us quickly, so we know what your thoughts are.
Okay. They're worried about size and cost. If they have to change any of the sizes of their signs as they are, that's one major concern. You know,
I will,
there's-
right, I will say with that, Councilwoman Tarantino and myself literally did walk all of North Avenue, drove South Avenue, because
Right.
South really doesn't have that many sandwich board signs, only a couple.
Right.
But North Avenue has quite a bit. We literally brought a tape measure out and measured the signs, so we really tried to be as all encompassing as we could. but there were certain signs that just were outside of what we felt comfortable with, and when we were discussing that as a loss and license
I mean,
matter.
the reason we measured them was because we were trying not to knock out any signs, so we measured them to see what the average size, not average, but who,
Actually, we took notes on what every single sign was, and then we looked at it and said, okay, how can we include the vast majority here? We also looked at the materials they're using to put them up, and so, for example, certain materials that we were initially possibly going to knock out, like plastic, we decided we better leave that in there because vast majority of the
most
signs
of them
are
were
plastic.
heavy plastic, so we chose not to knock that out.
That's good, that's a good thing.
So
That's a plus.
from our research, there's very few that were over the size limit that would have to
Change.
purchase a new sign.
That was
I mean, unless we find out something different, but
Mm-hmm.
that was our intent, not to hurt the businesses.
Okay. Oh, and also for Garwood, one other thing just flew through my brain. Just like, the executive director is trying to, for small businesses that do not have a place to have a networking event, is going to try to get a group together of the small businesses and run it in one location. So they can have a networking event and they can have their business cards, brochures, be available to speak to any of the people that come in. We draw 40 to 50 people at our networking event, easy. So that's what we're looking to do for the smaller businesses too.
Nice.
Okay, I think we're done.
Thank
Any
you.
more
Thank you
questions?
again.
Thank you, Carol, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll proceed to regular business.
Thank you.
John, you can have a seat back.
It's all right. Borough Engineer, Donald Goriello, sir, how are you this evening?
Thank you, Mayor, how are you?
Good.
Nothing really to report. We do have something to report. We've received approval from the DOT. We're ready to go out for bid. I'll set a date up with Tina tomorrow and maybe out for bid next week or so.
That's for 15.
14.
Any questions, Mr. Goriello?
Don, I don't know if this is for you or for Bob, anything new on the encroachment to Flag Field? I mean, letters go out and we're good?
Hold on, we are awarding the fence.
Right, I saw that tonight.
So once it's awarded, I will schedule it with the
Yeah.
contractor, and then I will send letters.
All
I
right.
can't notify you. when I don't
Understood.
know when the work's gonna be done.
Understood. Okay, thank you.
Just one general thing, I went to a seminar sponsored by the League of Municipalities, and they were talking about, the basic tenor of the meeting was planning, multi-year planning. And they had two really fabulous suggestions, and I thought, especially Councilman Yearstep would be interested in this. They said that what they do in their town of Wharton is they estimate that the life of a road is 20 to 30 years. They take the linear miles that they have in their town, and they divide it by 30. And they use that as a metric, saying, if we're not doing this amount of road repair, repaving per year, we're not, we're under improving the infrastructure. Do we have anything like that because I know Councilman used to have for
No, we don't do it, but we're grossly under keeping up with the.
because that was my concern, and I thought that was just a very interesting thing. The other thing that came through in the
It's
seminar.
not cheap either.
Was that?
It's not cheap either.
Oh, well, that's the whole thing. And the other thing that came through in the seminar was coming up with systems, not only that the person administering it could understand, but when they retire, resign, move on to different things, that you could hand it off to the successor and they could say, hey, here's a spreadsheet, they had some color-coded chart. These were the hot spots, these were the okay ones, and then these were the ones that were really paved. And again, I think Councilman Yearstep kind of started that a couple of years ago. And that's just something that I want all of us to kind of think about, if we could do that. And again, like a plug-and-play thing that's not just, Donna, I shudder to think what we do without you, but just that's something where you could hand it to the next person, the next council person, mayor, a person in your position to go ahead and have that. So maybe, that's something we can all think about.
Well, we do look ahead. Every year I give you a list that is far beyond what you have available funds for. of streets that need to be done. So, you know, we're already in for 2015 DOT grant, but you have leftovers from that for 16 and 17. So, you know, the other thing is, you know, you look at streets that need to be done this year, and then all of a sudden you have a problem. Like, for example, the 600 block of Spruce is coming apart at the seams. Well, we don't have that, that's not our plan. But it's a heavily traveled street, and Fred's having a lot of trouble keeping up with it. So what do we do with it?
Something like what Jim's talking about might also tell you, like, you could look back and say, well, Center Street, you could look at Center Street and see when was it last done, right? I mean, it could tell you the dates.
But we have that, the map I put together has that, and you're absolutely right. Some of the streets that I've been here a total of 35 years with a few years missing, so over the last 40 years, I've done a lot of streets, and if you think about it, 40-year life, that you really don't have, you don't bond for 40 years, you bond for 20. I mean, so we've done, I've never done a street twice, so we certainly should be doing streets that we paved 40 years ago. And we're not. Now, we haven't caught up with the streets we haven't done yet, you know, so.
Yeah, no, that was my
That's-
sense. I mean,
That's
obviously,
the problem.
the finances push it, but again, you gotta have roads, so
And we're-
something again that, you know,
We're hanging on a shoestring in that, you know, we rely totally on the DOT, and if you read the papers, DOT money doesn't look very good right now, so
Right.
if they cut it out for next year.
I mean, it's certainly a balancing act. I would say though, compared to some of our neighboring communities, I am happy that we are at least doing something each year rather than nothing or minimal and then all of a sudden, like our neighbor Cranford just did last year, a $6 million bond
Yeah.
for that. I
Well,
mean,
we don't have streets.
so I agree, I like this
I was gonna
outlook.
say something else.
Don't want them getting too mad at us, but anyway, I like the plan of doing something every year. It would be nice to see exactly how short are we in our maintenance of roads. So at least we're aware of it, but you make a very good point that sometimes things come up that we're not in that 30-year plan, or at least not at that time that you expected it.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at Maple.
Right.
I mean,
Right,
Maple
that
was
was-
done
Right.
when the Muse was put in and the road just fell apart. It hasn't been
Right.
there at all.
Right, $12,000.
And then you also have to work with, you know, the water company, the
Yep.
sewer company, the gas company to figure out when they're gonna be doing their upgrades to figure out, you know, what roads, right?
well, yeah, that was the other thing that came out of the seminar too, and I remember we dealt with this on Pine, when we saw, you know, spray painted marks on beautiful newly paved streets, that, you know, there's a lot of stuff under there. And this again, is something that Councilman Nierstedt brought up a meeting or two ago. In this particular town, they maintain their own water, they don't have American water up there. But they did a hydraulic study of all of their sewer and water lines. And one of the things they did I found very impressive, they would coordinate with the gas company and anybody else who was opening up the street to be there. And the mayor was saying that they were just in really bad shape, because I guess like a lot of towns, they just grew over time, had different gauges, pipe, different sizes. And what they would do is try to time replacements for this, based not just on the age, getting uniform pipes in there, but also on other utilities were doing the maintenance. And again, this was a multi-year project where they went ahead, spec'd out their sewage system, and in that case, their water system, and said, these are the spots that are really bad. These are the spots that are kind of okay, which I guess would correspond to the older parts of town and the newer parts of town. And then they would go ahead and upgrade like that. But again, it was a multi-year planning thing that could be passed off from one person to another, and you could say, okay, now I know where the hydraulics of Ward and Borough are. And I just want to kind of put that out there for everybody else too, because I think that that's a good, you know, good thing to do, kind of just, you know, planning and that.
Well, with the situation with the water company, they had never done a massive outreach like they've been doing with respect to their infrastructure. So now we're trying to stay ahead of them, or let them stay ahead of us, I guess, in doing the work that we're going, we're going to be there next year or the year after, so that we don't end up with those situations. So they know our schedule for the next 2 or 3 years.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Don.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few things. We have an ordinance on for introduction tonight on the sewer charge. I just thought I would explain that a little bit. Each year, Borough gets from the Raleigh Valley Sewage Authority a letter, which we got again this year, that indicates the authority's calculation of what the cost of treatment of the various components of the effluent is, and they break it down into three components: flow, TSS, which is total suspended solids, and BOD, which is And so, they did send that letter, and I calculated, we do not have the capacity in our sewer charge to calculate either BOD or TSS. So what we've done is, because they are considered to be three equal components, is to charge based on flow in order to capture those other two components. And this year, the cost of treatment, as reported by the Raleigh Valley Sewage Authority, increased by a total of 7%. In other words, the TSS, BOD, and flow, the cost of treatment increased by 7%. Not each component, but by an average. So the ordinance increases the sewer charge by 7%. Now, you have to separate that from, that does not mean that our sewer bill has gone up 7%, because the sewer bill is based upon A, the total cost of treatment, and B, to the authority, and B, Garwood's percentage based on the 5-year rolling average of the cost of treatment. So the charge that you get is, I'm not saying went up by 7%. What I'm saying is that's a function of how Garwood's allocation shakes out with everybody else's. But the cost of treatment increased by 7%, and so the ordinance proposes to increase the sewer charge by 7%. I have a couple of other ordinances that I prepared, but I think we're going to discuss them under committee reports, I assume. And then we have another topic to discuss with the administrator under her report. But I think we're going to discuss that in executive session when we get to it.
Okay. Any questions, Mr. Nod? Okay, continue on. Administrator, clerk?
We're gonna go into executive session now, or?
I would say now, this should be pretty quick, I hope. If you want me to state the purpose of the purpose of the executive session is to discuss contract negotiation with respect to the collection and disposal of recyclable materials.
I'll make a motion, Mayor, we move into executive session to discuss that purpose.
Second.
All in favor?
Sue, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Take a look as if you want to go home.
I don't.
You're supposed to stay with me.